सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः स्वधर्ममपि चावेक्ष्य अविकम्पितुमर्हसि धर्म्याद्धियुद्धात् श्रेयोऽन्यत् क्षत्रियस्य न विद्यते यदृच्छया चोपपन्नम् स्वर्गद्वारमपावृतम् सुखिनः क्षत्रियाः पार्थ लभन्ते युद्धमीदृशम् अथ चेत्त्वमिमं धर्म्यम् संग्रामं न करिष्यसि ततः स्वधर्मं कीर्तिं च हित्वा पापमवाप्स्यसि अकीर्तिं चापि भूतानि कथयिष्यन्ति ते व्ययाम् सम्भावितस्य च कीर्तिः मरणादतिरिच्यते भयाद्रणादुपरतम् मंस्यन्ते त्वां महारथाः येषां च त्वं बहुमतः भूत्वा यास्यसि लाघवम् So, here Bhagavan is saying, fear of any kind can't justify not doing your duty. Fear of some kind or the other can't justify your skipping the duty. You can't say, I don't want to do my duty because I'm scared. You can't say. Fear. Emotions should not come in the way of doing duty. Duty is above all emotions. The duty is something, duty is what makes man. Duty is what builds our life. Duty is what builds our securities. In fact, not only duties build our material life, duty also builds our mental life, our mental growth. Duty builds our material securities, material life. Duty also builds our mental growth. Emotions really stagnate us. Emotions are okay. But duty, you see, you have your emotions, but not at the cost of duty. It is just by doing duty alone we keep growing. Maturity, we keep, that sense of responsibility. Are you able to follow? The sense of responsibility. That's what is called sense of duty. What else? Therefore, the more you do your duty, the faster you mature. You skip your duty, you remain a child, a baby, infantile. Mind is started. How do you grow? It is only one keeps growing only through the sense of responsibility. Responsibility. Emotions, we value emotions alongside duty, not emotions at the cost of duty. We don't have to select either this or that. Emotions have their place, we don't deny it. But in fact, we should not allow emotions to come in the way of doing our duty. Yes. You love your son, koi baat nahi. But then he has to go abroad. You have to take it, accept it, duty. Or he has to think like this, I have a good job abroad, it's an opportunity, I have an opportunity and I have a duty also. So either he has to make some arrangements to look after the parents and then take the opportunity, grab the opportunity. Now you can't opt for the opportunity and ignore the duty. Ignoring duty makes you feel terribly guilty. Understand? Whereas losing an opportunity doesn't make you feel guilty. Okay, it makes you feel bad, okay. You feel, at least you can say it's my karma. It's my prarabdham, I lost the opportunity. You have a way out. But when you fail in duty, you have no way to make amends. You have no way. There is nothing to fall back on. There is nothing to support you when you don't do your duty. Understand this point very well. Therefore, we all become unhappy because we somehow or other we manage to skip a few duties and live with our emotions. Krishna here says, hey, don't skip, don't fail in your duty. You have emotion for Bhishma, you have emotion for Drona. Hey, there are emotions, but you have a duty towards dharma. Emotion for an individual is different from duty towards dharma. Are we hearing? Are you hearing? थोड़ा थोड़ा सुन ही लेते हैं जब आए हैं बस सुन ही लेते हैं जहां तक हो सकता है थोड़ा सुन ही लेते हैं. We are doing great obligation to Bhagavad Gita, liking Gita. Therefore, this is something, your feeling for a given person is different from duty towards dharma. A Kshatriya has duty towards dharma. A Vaishya has duty towards, is supposed to, a businessman has duty towards economy, national economy, or whatever it is, economy. Similarly, a Kshatriya, now we are talking about Kshatriya, similarly a Brahmana is supposed to have duty towards the well-being of the society. The duty is always for the society, please understand. Duty is not for a given person. Even when you do a duty for a given person, it is a duty for the society. If you had not done duty towards that one person, then to that extent you have harmed the society. Are you able to follow? If you ignore your children and they come on the streets, it is just adding a problem to the society. Therefore, duty is noble, duty is sacred, duty is karma. That is why Krishna is so much emphatic about duty. And you can grow through duty. There is no other way. Duty is the only ladder by which you grow, you go up and up and up. And if you say no, now Kshatriya, Arjuna is supposed to fight the battle, fight the war to establish dharma. Sometimes you have to wage a war. Sometimes you have to wage a war. If there are people who are disturbing the harmony, if there are people who disturb the harmony, then you try to teach them, and if they don't learn, then you punish them. What can you do about it? Then how do you rule a country? How does a king rule a kingdom? Or how does a government rule a kingdom? Or how does the head of a family manage the family if there is a given member, neither he lives nor he lets everybody else live? What will you do with him? You simply just say, all right, you go and live elsewhere. He says, no, neither I will live, nor I will let anybody live. Then you have to punish him. And sometimes you may have to deliver him into the hands of Yama. That's a duty. Otherwise, what else to do? You have to sacrifice. Therefore, picking up, see, fighting for property and then calling it dharma is wrong. But there can be dharma yuddha. And this war, Krishna says, this is a war not for the kingdom, because we are not interested in the kingdom. We want just, you see, really we don't want half the kingdom, you give me 5 villages, good enough. They say we don't want to give even a little. Then it's going against dharma. It's being unjust. Arjuna says, I am afraid. I am afraid. The fear, the attachment. He can't, give his emotion, his attachment as an excuse. He can't give his fear as an excuse for not fighting the war. Why? Because duty is above all attachments. Duty is above all attachments, above all emotions. Duty is above all that you hold dear to you in life. Duty is above all that you hold dear to your heart. Because what you hold dear to your heart is non-eternal. It can't travel with you. Whereas duty, properly done, dharma properly done, travels. Objects which I hold dear to me don't contribute to my growth. बहुत बड़ी बात है जी. Objects and people whom I hold dear to my heart don't participate in my growth, but my sense of duty participates in my growth. Nothing helps you in your growth except the duty properly done. All that Krishna says, you not only do your duty well, but you do it with the right attitude, with devotion to God. That's the best attitude you can ever invoke in yourself is as a prayer to God. There is no better attitude. God, this is my prayer to you. What can be better attitude? Try to think. Because you are very, very imaginative and you are very creative. People these days are very creative, very imaginative, widely read, widely traveled. Please come up with one attitude which is better than the attitude that God, I do this duty as a prayer to you. Now try to find out an attitude. Can there be an attitude better than this? God, the source of everything, source of the world, source of my mind, God, this is my prayer to you, this is my flower to you. I am doing my duty as a prayer to you. I tell you, it amounts to not only doing a duty, it also amounts to doing your duty, the way it is supposed to be done. It's called karma, becomes karma yoga. Duty well done is karma. Did you hear this? Duty well done is karma. Duty well done as a prayer to God is karma yoga. Did you hear? Duty well done is karma. Duty well done, but as a prayer to God is karma yoga. Now you know what is karma yoga, the definition. Simplest definition I am giving. Simplest definition. Duty well done is karma. Duty done not only well, but also as a prayer to God is karma. Now, duty well done contributes to my growth. Definitely, duty well done as a prayer to God hastens my growth. Not only it gives me inner growth, it gives me mental growth, it purifies my mind, it pacifies my mind, it gives me purity as well as shanti. And what can be more valuable than mental shanti? See, when you always think, money is more valuable than man ki shanti. I tell you, to understand the value of man ki shanti, you have to lose it for a few days. Understand? You have to lose your mental peace for some time. एक आधा रात नींद नहीं आना चाहिए, तब मालूम पड़ेगा स्वामी जी जो गाता था वो ठीक ही था. भगवत गीता जो गाती हैं ठीक ही गाती है, ठीक ही नहीं गाता है, ठीक गाती है. हाँ, एकदम ठीक है. And therefore here Bhagavan says, now the next line, Swadharmamapi chavekshya. When you are living your life, be conscious of what is your duty. Don't all the time think in terms of what is it that will give me, what is it that I like, don't think in terms of likes and dislikes. In fact, you become peaceful when you think more in terms of the duties on hand. Morning till evening, all the time think about what is it that I am supposed to do, what is it that I am supposed to be doing, what is it that I am supposed to be doing, what are my duties, as a housewife, what are my duties, as a child, what are my duties, as a husband, what are my duties, what are my duties, as a member of a family, what are my duties. If I come home after 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I am not doing my duties because I am causing concern at home. It's not my duty. I know you are coming straight from a public school and therefore your whole thinking is really a mess. When a person comes out of public school, do you know how the mind is? Total mess. Come after 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. That's not a duty. It's not a duty. Therefore, to be well informed is different from, to be modern is different from being a responsible individual. It is the sense of responsibility called dharma, swadharma, that can sustain us. Swadharma can sustain us. What did I say? Swadharma can sustain us. Our duties, well done, can sustain us. The other things can only look to be sustaining us, they can really distract us. Therefore here, Swadharmam apicha aveksha. Krishna says to Arjuna, Arjuna, Swadharma, look at what is your duty. You are a prince. You are a Kshatriya. You are from a royal family. And in those days there were no democracies. Every piece of land was ruled by a king. And it was the duty of that king to keep law and order and to keep dharma. To maintain dharma. Who would maintain dharma? Who would maintain dharma? Swadharmam api swaha dharma kshatriyasya yuddham. Your duty is, a kshatriya's duty, a king's duty is not just fighting for land. A king's duty is to fight for dharma. Fighting for dharma, to maintain law and order. Maintain law and order means, helping people follow values. And in order to make people follow truthfulness, the king himself has to be truthful. There is no other way of really guiding people along truthfulness. To make my people honest, I should be honest. To make people non-violent, I should be non-violent. To make people do their duties, I should do my duties. In fact, the head of the family cannot inculcate values in the other members of the family without himself following. It is not possible. Values are never taken just because they are preached. Values are always observed and absorbed. You observe and absorb values. They are never preached. The more you preach the values, the more they are resisted. Why? Because nobody wants to be preached. Nobody wants to be given lessons. Ye karo, wo karo, ye mat karo, wo mat karo. It's all problems. Children will say. You have told us a number of times, you don't have to say it again. हमने बहुत सुन लिया है. हमने बहुत सुन लिया. मम्मी हमने बहुत सुन लिया. Will mummy stop? No, because of her concern for the children, poor thing. She is all the time concerned. Therefore, even when the children say, हमने बहुत सुन लिया आपके बातें, she says, hey, but still, and therefore the parents must simply change the policy. That is, parents must follow values and then children will absorb. I told you a story. Somebody went to Mahatma Gandhi. Somebody went to Mahatma Gandhi. An old woman took her son to Mahatma Gandhi to ask Mahatma Gandhi, Mahatma ji, please tell my son not to take tea without sugar. Please tell him to take tea without sugar. He is not the diabetic, and the doctors tell him to renounce sugar. Please advise him not to take sugar. Mahatma Gandhi says, I will advise him after 1 month. You come after 1 month. Hey, now we have come with great difficulty. Why don't you tell him? He said, खाने में क्या होता है? Tell him. No, I can't tell. You come after 1 month. Then Mahatma Gandhi, for the next 1 month, took tea without sugar. Are you able to follow? He took tea without sugar. Then he got the power to advise. Because you can get the power to advise only what you are yourself following. You cannot really have the power to tell others a value that you yourself not follow. It's not possible. There is no power. A person who drinks and telling his children not to drink is like a bullet You take the bullet in your hand and throw. कुछ नहीं होता है. A person who does not drink, and if he advises, please don't drink, it is like shooting a bullet from a gun. It has a power. Are you able to follow? You can never make the other people listen to you if you only tell those things which you yourself don't follow. People will never listen to you. Are you able to follow? Therefore, a king, you know the price that if you want to become a king, and be prepared to pay the price of having to renounce all the wrongs and be ready to set the right example. If you want to be a king, be prepared to pay the price of leaving everything and living like a sadhu. Living like a sadhu means be responsible. If you want to marry, then be prepared to pay the price to be a responsible husband. When you want to have children, then be prepared. Be prepared to be a responsible father. If you want to be a king, then be prepared to be a responsible king. And therefore here, Krishna says, Arjuna, you are a prince, you are a king, and be responsible. Swadharma mapi cha. Avekshya, seeing your own duty. Seeing your own duty. Navi kampitum arhasi. You are not supposed to entertain the emotion of fear and attachment. You are not supposed to be shaken. In the face of your duty, you are not supposed to feel shaken. You know, it is an impulse. I mean, I have given the meaning of first line, now listen. Whenever you are faced with the duty, you become shaky. Oh, I have to do. There is always a certain resistance. There is a feeling of resistance. One resists the duty. One feels, one feels it is so tough to do one's duty. It is so difficult to do one's duty. It is so difficult. Therefore, one always tries to shirk one's duty. One tries to shirk one's duty. The reason for shirking one's duty is manifold, really, manifold. That is, right from childhood he has not been taught duty, number one. Number two, he has been mentally and physically sluggish. And he has never been taught that life is duty, life is nothing but duty. Is there a life minus duty? No. What is life minus duty? What do you do in life? Therefore, duty, therefore here Krishna says, Arjuna, when you are faced with a duty, don't feel shaken. Don't feel shaky. Don't feel emotional. Don't come up with excuses. Don't come up with excuses. When you are faced with a duty, you should simply, cheerfully do it. That makes you a responsible person. A responsible person has to shake off his mental sluggishness, shake off his physical sluggishness, shake off his sleepiness, shake off all emotions, shake off all unwillingness, shake off all reluctance, and jump into the fray of duty. Are you able to follow? That person is called a responsible person. Therefore, swadharmam api chaveksha navikampitum arhasi. And then he says, Krishna, Arjuna may ask a question. Bhagavan, now that I have to fight this war, is it really my duty? Is it my duty? Or is it my hatred for Duryodhana? I am now making an analysis. Is it my dislike for Kauravas, or is it really my duty? Now that I am to fight a war, is it my duty? Krishna says, it is your duty. Because you never wanted to fight the war. In fact, you should remember, I don't want even half the kingdom, I want only 5 villages. If somebody denies you even your survival, then it is adharma. Denying others their survival is adharma. Did you hear that? You deny others their basic, even sheer survival. Denying others even their survival, is it dharma or adharma? Adharma. You refuse to give even the basic. You refuse to help the other person meet even his basic needs. Then it is adharma. Therefore, now that you have to fight this war is dharma. That is why dharmyati yuddha. Here Krishna is telling something very beautiful. Fighting for justice. Fighting for justice, don't interpret it as violence. Fighting for justice is not violence. Supposing fighting for justice may involve some violence, but still it is not violence. It's not violence, because you are not causing violence because you are violent. A violent man by nature, one who is violent by nature, causes violence. But a person who fights for justice is not violent. First he will say, please do me justice. He says, I don't care. Then you approach, you demonstrate, he doesn't do any justice. And sometimes you do some tod-bod also. You can't call it really violence. It is, if there is some injustice, then you have to resist it. Resisting injustice, Bhagavan says, is the noblest on the earth. Dharmyati yuddhat shreya. Better than resisting injustice. Anyat, something else, kshatriyasya, for a king. Na vidyate, there is not. There is nothing for man better. There is nothing for a kshatriya. There is nothing better for a kshatriya than resisting injustice. This is something great. Therefore, people always interpret Krishna's teaching as violence. He is not saying you should be violent. It is the weak people who are violent. Violent are just animals. Animals are violent, wild animals. What is the difference between a wild man and a wild animal? You don't know? You want me to tell? Chalo, hum batai denge. A wild animal kills when it needs. A wild man kills even when he doesn't need to kill. A wild man kills people even when he doesn't need to kill. A wild animal kills only when it is hungry, when it needs to eat. A wild animal practices a need-based violence. A wild man practices needless violence. Needless violence. And therefore Krishna is not recommending violence. He is only saying you better be aware of justice. Don't live a submissive, don't live a very, very indifferent life, don't live a slave's life. What he means is don't live a slave's life. Live like a thinking person and be aware where justice is done and where injustice is done, and try to resist injustice. Try to resist it. If nobody resists injustice, then those who perpetrate injustice will have a field space. Will have a field space. We will have. इनके लिए आनंद आ जाएंगे. Therefore, at least one has to say it. Hey, why are you doing it? This is not right. आजकल हम कहना भी नहीं चाहते हमारे बस हम क्यों करें, हम क्यों बुरा हो जाए, हम क्यों बुरा हो जाए. Hey, better say it. ऐसे becoming बुरा to another human being is not that risky, but becoming बुरा to dharma is bad for everybody. We should not be unfair to dharma. Dharmyadhi yuddha shreyonyate kshatriya senavidite. I have completed the verse. Are you able to follow? One says, Arjuna, don't run away from the battlefield and control your emotions, control your attachments and do your duty. And because it is your duty because you are fighting for justice. If you are fighting for land, if you are fighting to demonstrate your ego, if you are trying to fight others to prove your ego, your vanity, your valor, that is not your duty. That is your vanity. Vanity fair is different from doing your duty. And therefore, here Bhagavan says, because it is your duty, don't run away from your duty. This is over. Thus, what is Krishna teaching? What is Krishna teaching? Hey, if fighting for justice is your duty, then do your duty. That means, so whatever is your duty, do it. Supposing if a sadhu's duty is not to do anything, aram se pade rahna is the duty. Pade rahna अच्छा है. It's not easy. Is it easy पड़े रहना? पड़े रहो एक दिन घर में. There was a temple in the south. I'm going to tell you a story, kahani. There was a temple, and in that temple there was a Swami, a sadhu. And the sadhu was just, he was reading something, apne aap mein rahte the. He used to remain with himself, quiet, not harming anybody, just pade rahna. This is called pade rahna. And then at lunch time, and the temple authorities would give that sadhu one pattai or something, some measure, rice, chawal, one measure, let us say, one measure rice the temple used to give to that sadhu every day, because he is just residing, he is staying in the temple. And one day the temple authority, the number one head, he came to supervise what is happening in the temple. And then he saw this sadhu. Hey, sadhu is not doing anything. Why is he here? He says, the sadhu to mandir mein to sadhu to rahte hain. Those people said, pujaris vagera. What does the sadhu do? No, he doesn't do anything from morning till evening, pade rahte hain. If he is only pade rahte hain, why do you give him one measure of rice every day? Then the sadhu said, Maharaj, pade rahna koi aasan nahi hai. Then he said, pade rahna koi bhi kar sakte hain. Why should we give you rice, one measure of rice every day? Then the sadhu said, all right, you pade raho and show. Come on, you show. Aap pade raho aur dikhao. Then he says, pade rahna to bahut aasan hai. I can also, all right, you sit down for some time. Now I can sit down like this for the whole day. You sit down. I can also sit down. All right. He sat down. That supervisor, that man who came to supervise. And so he came. Inspector. Temple inspector came. He sat down. And the sadhu said, Maharaj ji, मैं तो ऐसे नहीं बैठता हूँ, अंदर राम जी का नाम जपता हूँ, आप भी जपो. So then he said, okay, Rama, 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 Rama. But there came a call that. To begin with, he closed his eyes, and after a few minutes, then he opened his eyes. And then he saw this way, he saw that way. He was so restless inside. Then he saw this side, and he started exercising his body because he was feeling pain. And then he got up. After half an hour, he said, my God, it is so difficult to pade raho. It's so difficult to pade raho. Half an hour I am not able to sit quiet. This man is sitting for the whole day. You should give him not one measure, give him 2 measures a day. I say, a sadhu's duty is to live in peace and study and teach. That is his duty. A sadhu's duty is to study and teach, make people think. That is the duty of a sadhu. Make people think spiritually. Guide them in understanding life. That is the duty of a sadhu. What is the duty of a kshatriya? Maintain dharma. What is the duty of a Vaishya? Accepting caste system. To do business and create wealth. Like this. Anyway, even if we don't talk the language of caste, everybody has some duty anyway. Good enough. Duty is not based on duty. Duty is not born of caste system. I say that I want to live. Itself is good enough to prescribe duty. Are you able to follow? Okay, this verse is over. Next verse. Yadrichaya chopapannam Swargadvaram apavritam Sukhina kshatriya partha Labhante yuddhamidrisham Yadrichaya cha upapannam. Arjuna, you didn't look for a war. You did not look for a battle. It just came to you. Sometimes you don't look for duties, duties come to you. I'm telling you something very subtle in life, and listen. If you miss it, you miss it. It is not that really you create duties. Sometimes you don't really look for duties. Sometimes you don't. Certain duties which are far away sometimes come over. Suddenly they descend on your head. You understand? Suddenly they descend over your head. Suddenly economic situation changes. Life changes. Duties change. Life changes, duties change. Suddenly, the family shifts to America, and there you may have to work. Here you had lot of servants. In India you had lot of servants. India is still, I tell you, it is a country which can afford luxuries. You can't have Ramu in America. Can you have Ramu? No. You can't have Ramu in America. In order to have Ramu in America, you have to pay your entire, whatever pay packet you get, the whole thing you have to hand over to Ramu. And therefore, even though you did not cook here, you never went inside into the kitchen, but the moment you go to America, life changes. I have to. Therefore, a person who is ready to do his duties as they surface in life. Duties need not be static. Duties can keep changing, all the time keep changing. As life changes, duties change. As the contracts change, duties change. Prarabdha changes, duty changes. Understand, please. मैं तो कभी भी, I have never done cooking, why should I do cooking? My daughter will not go to the kitchen. This is the wrong advice being given these days to the daughters. These days, vanity, this is a vanity advice. Are you able to follow? It is a vanity advice. Why? Because men have to sometimes cook, women also, we all have to learn, this is a part of our survival. It's a part of our survival. So we should learn how to cook also, we should learn how to serve, we should learn how to wash utensils, we should learn how to clean, how to wash, how to press, how to dry. In fact, everything we should do. Mahatma Gandhi would get up every morning and scrub the bathroom. Understand? I tell you, he was a wise man. If you don't like Mahatma Gandhi, then don't curse me. Why Swamiji is all the time, taking Mahatma Gandhi's name? Don't curse me. Because I see in him a very giant thinker. A great thinker. A time will come, India, when the whole world is on the brink of destruction, they will have to invoke the thinking of Mahatma Gandhi to step back from the brink, I am telling you. Then when the whole world is on the brink of collapse, they will have to invoke the thinking of Mahatma Gandhi to be able to step back. Nothing less. It is not the thinking of Churchill. Churchill is not going to hell, or anybody is not these great what we call rulers. They are not. But a saintly Mahatma Gandhi's thinking alone can pull the world back from the brink. Therefore, here Bhagavan says, duties that descend on your head, don't resist them, do it. Yadrichaya, look at the word yadrichaya. Yadrichaya means you never asked for it, it comes. That is called yadrichaya. Yadrichaya cha upapannam, that which has come to your door. Sometimes duties come to you, like opportunities if they can come to you. If opportunities can come to you, duties also can come to you. Opportunities I grab, duties I resist. Why? Sometimes opportunities, sometimes you are now 70 plus, and sometimes suddenly you have to look after some small children. That is a duty. It is a duty. Oh no. My duty was only to bring up my children, not my children's children. Hey, sometimes you may have to bring your children's children also. It may be your duty, who knows? अपने आप आ जाते हैं. Supposing your children's children descend on your head, what will you do? Children's children come to you, what will you do? You have to look after them. Do it as a duty. Therefore, yadrichaya cha upapanna. Similarly, Arjuna, this war has come to your door without your asking for it. Swargadwaram apavrutam. And a duty properly done opens the gates of heaven. Understand, it is not merely fighting a just battle that opens the gates of heaven. Any duty properly done opens the gates of heaven. Because there is no discrimination, there is no what we call gradation. It's not that one duty is less and another duty is more. Any duty is equally sacred. Dharma is sacred. Doing the duty of really comforting your children is as sacred as feeding a hungry man, or giving water to a thirsty man, or comforting your parents or grandparents. Any right action is equally sacred. I want you to register this sentence. Any right action is equally sacred. Any right, any duty correct, any duty done is sacred. It is not that only those people who die fighting the war with Pakistan will go to heaven. Jannat jayenge. Hey, what is this? These are meaningless. These are meaningless. Whenever you do the right action, any right action is equally sacred. It is not that really only those who die in a war go to heaven. I tell you, even those who staying at home, a husband goes to the war front and the housewife looks after the children and she is doing her duty. She is doing her duty of looking after the children, though husband goes to the war front. You can't say only the person who goes to the war front, his duty is bigger than the person who is looking after the children. Both are equally sacred. Any duty is sacred. Bhagavan says, Yadrichaya jobupannam swargadwaram apavrutam. The gates of heaven are open by doing the duty that has come to your door. Sukhinaha, Kshatriyaha, Partha. Blessed are the kings. Blessed are the kings. Labhante yuddhamidrisham, who get the opportunity to fight for justice. It is not that the kings are blessed if they fight wars. Not that. Those kings are blessed who fight for dharma, justice. Dharma is justice. Dharma for values. And therefore, it is just, generally we only think of wars, to take over. Fighting to take over is not nothing. That is not dharma yuddham. Taking over is not dharma yuddham, but to establish dharma. You wage a war to create peace. You wage a war to create peace. Is dharma yuddham. You wage a war sometimes to remove the evil. Like Rama killed Ravana. Is it true? Please tell me. Is it true that Rama was itching to go and take the life of Ravana? Is it true? Was he all the time itching to take up his bow and arrow and kill somebody or the other? I don't think he was all the time. I don't think he was interested in taking others' lives. But yet he went. He put his heart and soul to destroy Ravana. Why? Because he was a nuisance for the rest of the world. It is God's duty to remove the evil which is a nuisance for the world, I am telling you. As long as the evil is not yet the nuisance for the world, it is not removed in toto. But when it becomes a nuisance for the rest of the world, then Bhagavan himself will just, hatch something by which that evil will be gone. It is dharma yuddham. Therefore, what kind of yuddha did Rama fight? Dharma yuddha. It is really dharma yuddha. Not that, every time you fight, you take people's lives and say it is dharma yuddham. Jihad, jihad, jihad. Aisa thodi hota hai jihad. Hindus also can't go on becoming violent and say, hum to dharma yuddha lad rahe. Aisa thodi hota hai. Therefore, this verse is also over. Yadrikshaya chobapannam swargadwaram apavrutam. Arjuna, the duty has come to your door and the gates are open, gates of heaven are open. Blessed are the kings who fight for dharma. And I would say, blessed is any individual who does his duty cheerfully. Cheerfully. Without making faces. Blessed is a person who does his duties without making faces. Because when you make faces and do your duty, then others don't enjoy it. Like, you bring coffee but with making too many faces. You make a face as black as coffee. See? And what happened? The others can't enjoy that coffee. And therefore, do your duty cheerfully. What did I say? Cheerfully. Do you know how do you become cheerful? inwardly you feel, I am blessed to be doing my duty. I am blessed to be doing my little duty as a prayer to God. That sense of inner sense of blessedness makes you cheerful on your face. Because what takes place in your heart, that alone shows on your face. You can't conceal what is in your heart. What takes place in your heart alone shows on your face, and therefore feel blessed to be doing your duty. Then you'll be cheerful. Clear? This verse is over. 32nd verse is over. Then the next verse we will see in the next class. Bhagavan is going to say, if you did not do your duty, what will be the consequences? Problem ho jayenge. Problem ho jayenge. Therefore, better do your duty. And that itself will help you grow towards your freedom. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Harihi Om Om Tat Sat. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.